evening and welcome to Joy News Prime. We'll come to you live from our studios here at Kokomlemle. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. My name is Faustina Safo. Sweet promise, bitter harvest. Tonight, cocoa farmers express outrage as a supposed 63% hike in cocoa prices leaves them with just a 4% increase in actual earnings. We'll hear from the minority in Parliament who say farmers have been fleeced. Also tonight, minority in Parliament accuses commercial banks of suppressing public demand for dollars as the central bank launches a probe into claims the banks have limited the amount of forex they supply to the market. Also tonight, lawyer Bernard Bedu secures NDC's ticket for Akwetia by-election, setting the stage for a showdown with opposition MPP Solomon Asumedu on September 2. We're live in the constituency for more. Also tonight in Joy News Prime, our Habitat series will bring you the story of a father of three forced to live in a slum with his family after landlord's demand for 2 to 3 years rent pushed him to the brink of eviction. Choosing us. Tonight, cocoa farmers are up in arms over government's recent announcement of a 63% in producer price of cocoa, claiming the actual boost to their earnings will be a meager 4%. Despite the Finance Minister, Dr. Akatsi West's assertion that the new price fulfills President John Dramani Mahama's promise to give farmers a 70% of the free on-board value, farmers feel the announcement falls short of their expectations. The minister explained that the price hike, which raises the producer price from $3,100 to $5,040 per ton, reflects the government's commitment to supporting cocoa farmers. However, farmers argue that raising the production costs and the appreciation of the cedi have eaten into the gains. First, let's listen to the Finance Minister, Dr. Akatsi West, on the increment, insisting the government has fulfilled its promise to cocoa farmers.
The government has, by this decision, increased the producer price significantly by 62.58% in US dollar terms. This increase in the producer price represents 70% of the gross free on board value of $7,200 per ton, and aligns with the NDC's manifesto and President Mahama's promise to pay the cocoa farmer 70% of the FOB price. It is significant to note that for the 2024 and 2025 crop season, the previous administration set an FOB value of $4,850 per ton of cocoa and the producer price at $3,100 US per ton, representing 63.9% of the FOB price, even though the world market price at the time was much better than today. And for emphasis, between 2024 and 2025, the previous administration set the FOB value at $4,000.
But these announcements have done little to satisfy the farmers. My colleague Caleb Ziblim joins me in the studio. He's been poring over the numbers. He's just going to give us a breakdown of what exactly the numbers are. Caleb, government says we're giving you enough money. The farmers are unsatisfied. Why exactly? Okay, so Faustina, if you look at the numbers from the Finance Ministry, they've increased the price per ton in dollars from $3,100 to $5,040. Now, this is a 62% increment, and this is what we've been hearing, that they've increased the farm gate price by 62%. Okay. But then when it comes to cedis, because now they don't pay their farmers in dollars, they pay them in cedis. Okay. When it comes to cedis, that's, they used to pay them 49,000 Ghana cedis. Now they are paying them 51,000 Ghana cedis per ton. If you convert that, that's an increment of 4%. So in dollar terms, we have an increment of 62%. But then when it comes to cedis, we have an increment of 4.1%. And why is this gap there, really? And mainly because of the cedi appreciation. Because if you used, say, the 16 cedis that the
previous farm gate price was calculated on, you would have 80,000 Ghana cedis per ton. But because the cedi has appreciated and we now have 10.25, 10 cedis, maybe 50% thereabout to the dollar, we have 51,000. So instead of 80,000, we have 51,000 because of the strength of the cedi. And if it comes to bags, because most of the farmers produce in bags, not in tons, and a bag was 3,100 Ghana cedis for a 64 kg bag. Now it's 3,228. That's about 128 Ghana cedis increment. So for a bag of cocoa, you have now 128 Ghana increment, and that's the same 4.1%. This is mainly because of the exchange rate. If we were using 16 cedis, farmers would have benefited more. But because the cedi has appreciated, you have to, receive less.
But I thought the appreciation of the cedi is good news, and we should be happy about that.
It's good news for some parts of the economy, but then with your exports, you definitely take a hit because you'll be receiving less for that.
Let's do the comparative analysis. I can see we're doing a comparative analysis between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire.
Yes.
What exactly are our figures saying?
So Cote d'Ivoire are yet to announce their farm gate prices for the next season.
Okay.
So we went ahead of them and we did 3,228. Currently, Cote d'Ivoire does 3,070. So we are higher than them by just a few Ghana cedis. So this should not encourage smuggling into Cote d'Ivoire. And usually, because Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, we have a bilateral relationship, we set our prices around the same level to discourage smuggling into neighboring countries. So in the coming days, we should see Cote d'Ivoire also increase their farm gate price, but we don't think it will be too much above what Ghana is currently offering.
So our prices are best for the farmers, isn't it?
Well, from the finance ministry, they've given them 70% of the FOB price. Now, the FOB price is how much government gets when it sells the cocoa beans. So the FOB is not the world market price.
Okay.
And in the run-up to the elections, there were arguments that the government will give them 70% of the world market price. But they're giving them 70% of the FOB price. So, the argument is that they've delivered on that promise.
Thank you so much, Caleb, for bringing us that update. Now, the minority in Parliament believes they're getting the last laugh, touting the government and over what they call a deceptive price announcement. Ranking member on the Finance Committee, Kojopon Nkrumah, has been speaking to Joy News.
We are just working the numbers right now. We've just come out of the meeting. We've seen percentages and they are using the dollar. The NDC, what they do is that they try to always hide the truth. So you have to take your time, work the numbers. But the most important thing, and I encourage all of you in your newsrooms to do, pick the cedi value of a bag of cocoa on the market today, compare it to the new price they have announced, and see. Somebody's telling me that the change is about 100 cedis or something. Yes.
Less than 200 cedis.
Yes.
But they argue that that's because of the strengthened cedi.
Really? Is that what they told the farmers? Is that what Atuforsin told the farmers? Is that what he told them? So please, if the change is 128 cedis, ask yourself, the last time Akufo-Addo increased a bag of cocoa, how much did he increase it by? And when Atuforsin and President Mahama increased by a bag of cocoa, how much have they increased? At the end of the day, that is the analysis everybody.
Doesn't matter that they are giving the farmers 70% of what they are getting from the international market.
The farmers. Go and ask the farmers on the ground. They'll tell you.
In the last hour, Cocoa Board has also been responding to claims by the minority over the new producer price. CEO Dr. Ransford Abe has dismissed their concerns, insisting the new rate leaves cocoa farmers better off.
It's a stronger cedi, a negative thing for the Ghanaian economy. If the exchange rate was at 16 cedis, the 5,040 would have been 80,600. It would have been 80,600 if the exchange rate was 16 cedis. That's what the 5,040 would have been. Why are we making it look as if a stronger cedi is negative as far as the Ghanaian is concerned? The truth of the matter is that we sell the thing in dollars, and let Kojo know that whether it is spot pricing or average, last year was better than this year. If you check spot price today, 7.4. Check the spot price at the time that this thing was made. And I'm saying that you declared an FOB of $4,850, out of which you gave the farmer 3.1. Even when the prices are relatively lower than last year, we've declared an FOB of 7,200, out of which the farmer is getting 5,040, which is 70%. It is the exchange rate, that 16 that was used in November and 10.25 today. It is because we have a relatively stronger, a much, much stronger currency. Why will anybody want to play around it? Now, if anybody told you that, so if you were a watcher of the news and you looked at the pricing, averagely was around 8,000, and you hear that the farmer is giving 3,100, what will be your reaction? Did you ever, as a journalist, did you ever hear that there was a rollover of 333,000 tons? That Cocoa Board had sold 333,000 tons for 2,600, and that is what was affecting the pricing for 24-25. Were you ever told that? This is was something that Cocoa Board hid from everybody, and that is why it was 4,850. Because in 23-24, Cocoa Board signed contracts for cocoa that it could not deliver. Not 30,000, 333,767 tons, sold at 2,600. So in 24-25, we were using high price cocoa to pay for 2,600. And that is what brought the weighted average down. We have done about 230,000, and we are taking on 100,000 to 25-26. That is what also has affected the weighted average. But we are doing a 7.2 instead of 4,850. So we are reeling from that 333,000 sold at 2.6 in 23-24 that we couldn't supply. And so we're using high price cocoa to pay for this, and that affects the weighted average. That is what they are not telling the farmer.
Well, away from that, the Minority on Parliament's Economy and Development Committee is accusing commercial banks of ensuring that they deliberately restrict access to foreign currency, an act they believe is distorting the forex market. The move, they claim, is a quiet attempt to sustain the Bank of Ghana's official exchange rate amid rising public demand. This follows growing complaints from industry members as well as importers who say access to dollars has become increasingly difficult despite recent cedi stability. There's more in the following report.
Despite recent gains in the stability of the cedi, some importers say there's a troubling development in the market. The dollars they need are suddenly hard to come by. Now, the minority in Parliament is suggesting it's no coincidence. Kojo Ponkroma is a ranking member on the committee.
In one breath, the governor argues that the Bank of Ghana thinks that there's no shortage. In another breath, he does not dispute the argument from the traders that they are not getting the dollars. And so they are beginning to suspect that the banks are not trading all that they have to trade, or that some of the banks may be holding forex in their nostro accounts. And that's why they have announced that they will interrogate that. We are of the view that what the traders are saying is true, and that the banks are, doing what they have to do. The traders suspect that the banks are suppressing demand by using this documentation argument.
He also claimed that the recent stability of the cedi is as a result of the policies implemented by the SWAL administration.
That the cedi is performing well mostly because our external side is robust. In fact, when we checked the details of the data, you will find out that gold prices have shot up by about 43% as against the same time last year. But in terms of volumes, there has not been a significant change or even a doubling of our gold exports. It is the price that has changed, and the price has changed mostly because of the things that are happening on the uncertainty side on the global market. The government hasn't done anything about it. The price has gone up by about 43%. Incidentally, you notice that our cedi has appreciated by about 42%. On the cocoa side, it was clear that the major increase in cocoa exports, coupled with about a doubling of the cocoa prices.
But the majority on the committee is pushing back. Committee Chairman Eric Affle insists there's no shortage of dollar in the system and says the market is functioning normally.
He has proven all doubt that people should not be scared about any shortage in the market. We have built a lot of reserves, forest reserves, to meet any contingency. We have good shocks which can, move on any turbulence, being internally or externally. So people should not fear about the shortage of the forex in this country.
With the Bank of Ghana set to be reviewing the situation, questions around forex accessibility remains under scrutiny. In the meantime, stakeholders across the financial and trading sector continue to monitor development closely.
Away from that, a local chief and 4 others have been arrested for illegal mining inside a forest reserve in the Ashanti region. The Nkoswahini of Minti, a small community in the Busumi Freho district, was caught red-handed leading the destruction of parts of the Bosomtwi Rainforest Reserve using heavy machinery deep into the protected area. The Forestry Commission says it is cracking down hard on such operations, especially as illegal miners creep into new zones like Esiwa, even along major roads. Let's bring in Joy News editor and environmental journalist Erastus Asaredongo, who has been following the story closely. Erastus, tell us, what exactly can you report on this?
So for some time now, illegal miners are invading and eating deep into the fabric of the Bosomtwi district. This morning, I reported on the mining along the Kumasi-Esiwa road. Now, we also learned that a local chief, the Nkoswahene of Minti is within the Bosomtwi district, and he has organized some people. Nana Kojopoku, who is 45 years, has organized some people in the community, and they've gone deep within the Bosomtwi Range Forest Reserve, and they were mining within that enclave illegally. And so the Forestry Commission Rapid Response Team took over, went into the forest and arrested them. He, together with 4 others, they were using one excavator, some pumping machines, and others. They were eating deep into the reserve, in fact, which is a protected area. What we are getting right now is that he's not alone. He had the support of certain chiefs within the Minti community who took the law into their own hands to allow these individuals to mine illegally within the forest reserve.
Interesting. And so far, have authorities apprehended him?
Yes, he has been arrested together with the 4 others. They have been identified. Nana Kojopoku, who is the Nkoswahene of Minti, is the one who is leading this illegality. He's 45 years. Muhammad Mate is 30 years. He's the excavator operator. Kwame Signa is 33. Akwesi Amedu, 48. And Yao George Srifi is 41. They have since been handed over to the Bekwai Divisional Police, who are assisting in investigations.
Thank you so much, Erastus Asaredongo, for bringing us that update. Now, away from that, lawyer Bernard Bedu has emerged as the NDC parliamentary candidate for Akatsi by-election. He secured the ticket by garnering 380 votes, defeating his closest rival, Erasmus Koni Ali. With the NDC's ticket in hand, Bedu will face off against MPP Solomon Asumedu on September 2 in a highly anticipated contest. Let's go on the phone lines now and speak to our Eastern Regional correspondent, Kofi Siam, for more on this. Kofi, you've been there all day. What's the euphoria like in the community? Okay, whilst we reconnect the lines to just reach my colleague Kofi Siam, he's just been giving us updates that the NDC have decided who exactly will be steering affairs for the party in the upcoming elections, the Akatsi by-elections. We know that the New Patriotic Party already selected a candidate. This is the candidate that the NDC have selected, and he would go on to represent the party in the upcoming Akatsi by-election. We're told he is a lawyer. My colleague Kofi Siam is on the ground, and he would be interacting with some party members as well as the candidate shortly. But the Ghana Police Service has served more than 40 high-end vehicles believed to have been stolen overseas and tracked into the country. The operation, carried out in collaboration with the FBI and Interpol, forms part of a wider crackdown on international vehicle smuggling syndicates. My colleague Maxwell Akrobeto has more in the following report.
The Ghana Police Service has revealed the recovery of 43 stolen vehicles smuggled into the country during the first 7 months of 2025. Speaking at a joint press conference held by the Cybersecurity Authority and the Ghana Police CID, Director General of the Criminal Investigations Department, COP Lydia Donko, stated the collaboration with international security agencies, including the FBI and Interpol, led to the successful operation. The recovered vehicles include Rolls-Royce, a Mercedes-Benz V-Class, and others.
The CID administration has stepped up efforts to fight vehicle crime by working in close collaboration with other national agencies. This effective collaboration has resulted in the recovery of 43 vehicles stolen from abroad and brought into the country between January and July 2025. These 43 vehicles are mainly high-value luxurious vehicles such as Rolls-Royce, Audi Q8, Porsche, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, etc., stolen from countries such as the Netherlands, Spain, Belgium, Canada, USA, Germany, Italy, and France.
COP Lydia Donko also provided an update on the trial of Bryant Awe, a suspect linked to the murder of Ghana Immigration Officer Stephen King Amwa. Charges have formally been upgraded from kidnapping to murder following the discovery of alleged incriminating evidence, including a blood-stained fufu pestle.
The investigation took a decisive turn on 16 July 2025 when the CID, supported by officers from the counter-terrorism unit and the Kwabena District Police, visited the suspect's residence. A forensic inspection revealed the following: blood stains in the living room and evidence of attempted cleanup, freshly sprayed walls, an empty can of sprayed paint. A further search in the bushes about 100 meters from the suspect's house also led to the retrieval of a fufu pestle with blood stains all over it, wrapped in polythene.
Also speaking at the news conference, the Acting Director General of the Cyber Security Authority, Divine Agbeti, presented an overview of recent operations that led to the arrest of over 60 individuals, both foreign nationals and Ghanaians, linked to various online scams.
On July 4th, 2025, a joint raid was conducted at Dodo Wasasabi in the Ubuntu estate. 25 suspects, all foreign nationals, were arrested. Items retrieved included 40 laptops, 30 mobile phones in Botiano, English, Yamanfro. 16 suspects, all foreign nationals, were arrested.
The Ghana Police Service and the Cyber Security Authority assures the general public of efficient collaborations in order to mitigate the crime rate in the country. Maxwell Aklobotu's report for Joy News.
Well, let's take you back to our earlier story. We're taking you now to that constituency where we told you that lawyer Bernard Bedu has emerged as the NDC parliamentary candidate for the Akwatia by-election. He secured a whopping 380 votes. He defeated his closest rival, Erasmus Koni Ali, and my colleague Erastus Kofisian is on standby. Just give us updates as to what exactly is happening on the floor. Kofi, you have been engaging some constituents. What exactly is their thoughts about this new candidate that the NDC has selected?
Okay, so they say that the election of Bernard Byaku signal unity in the party, because before they were saying that if Erasmus Ali Kone or and Ribuachi Adam, the former MP, if any of them had won, there would have been disunity, because these are people who have been competing among themselves over the years. So now that they have a new candidate, they see him as a neutral person who would unite the front of the party in the constituency. So they are going into this election with all the aims, with all the preparedness to meet the NPP on September 2nd, 2025.
Now, what was the security situation on the ground during the elections?
Okay, so from the morning to the evening, when the last ballot was counted, I can tell you that there was total security in the area. The police were up to their numbers. They were very well armed and ensured that the process was smooth. So it was generally a peaceful election today.
And then finally, you've been engaging the winner. What exactly has he been saying?
The new candidate hasn't spoken yet. As I speak with you, it's been raining from the time they finished counting. So he hasn't spoken. We are all, taking refuge somewhere. So I'm sure after the rain, he's going to, make some statements.
Thank you so much for your time, Kofi Siam. Join us all the way from that constituency. Now, away from that, 7 people are receiving medical treatment after sustaining injuries in a fire outbreak at Medina on Sunday. The fire destroyed several makeshift wooden and metal structures used for both commercial and residential purposes at Medina Washing Bay near Redco Flats. Joy News' Stephen Mensah reports.
We work as a business hub. We go there daily to earn a living. During the chaos, the man with the gun fired a warning shot into the air, and then another directly into the crowd. These were people trying to salvage what they could from the fire. He was holding a pump-action gun too. They carry firearms in the area, and if you dare protest, they either stab you or shoot you.
Because nobody 18 uko kansi no be sikan o dia wo uko kansi no be tu no dia bow enye pra ti say ade bi na etwa me na pra gunshot bullets bi poison nti somebody me abo me for each problem bi each bibia mbeti me dia bomb bi idea me there.
It started like any regular Sunday afternoon, with children playing, afternoon naps, and traders calling to passers-by to come buy their wares. But in a flash, everything changed. Flames surged through the slum here at Medina Ridge Junction, devouring more than 50 wooden homes and container shops. Dreams, memories, and years of hard work turned to ashes within minutes. Families watched as their homes burned to ashes.
I'm into shoes and sandals, slippers, all kind of things. It's not easy for me, but there's hope. Right now, I am into that kind of business. I can't depend on the nest only. So I need to do something I need to add something to it.
I was in church when I was called that my shop was burning. When we got here, I had lost everything. I have lost a lot with a lot of my destroyed goods worth several thousands of cedis.
With fire officials still investigating the cause of the fire, some of these business owners and residents here believe the extent of the damage could have been better managed if not for the delayed response by the Ghana National Fire Service.
They delayed for a time because from where the fire was coming out to their workplace, that's their office there, is about just 5 meter thing. So if individuals did not even go there to inform them, they could have seen them for themselves. But we have to rush there and call them that this is happening to us right now. So when they came, where the fire was going, they didn't even go to that place.
As investigations continue, residents are hoping this tragedy will prompt authorities to act decisively. Until then, the people of Medina Ridge Junction are left to rebuild yet again from scratch. For Joy News, I am Stephen Mensah, reporting from Medina Ridge Junction.
Meanwhile, the Ghana National Fire Service has been attributing the delayed response and extent of damage to the unavailability of fire tenders and water within the area.
Because the taps were not flowing, even if you got there and you opened, you will not get water. There was only one hydrant, but that hydrant is where I just mentioned, site 10, but unfortunately, because the taps were not flowing, there was no water, the hydrant was dry, and we had to go to places where we could get water to come and extinguish the fire.
And so the inadequate water was a main issue?
It was an issue. It was seriously an issue. As you are discharging from the pump to the fire, and you expect water to be replenished through the hydrant to the pump. But unfortunately, since we don't have hydrant closer, and the one even that was closer was on 1 kilometer or 2 away and even was dry, what it meant was that we have to go looking for the water to come and extinguish. If that what you brought, you had exhausted, then you have no choice than to abandon the hoses and go look for water.
And some of your fire engines traveled all the way to Ablempe?
Yes, they did.
Just to refill?
Just to refill.
You couldn't get water anywhere close? Adenta, University of Ghana, North Legon?
There was nowhere. Yeah, some too went to North Legon to replenish.
You're still watching Joy News Prime. We'll be back after this quick turn. Please stay tuned in. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Ghana Education Service has sounded the alarm on a disturbing trend of examination malpractice Sweeping through senior high schools in the Ashanti region, a staggering 76 out of 144 schools have been implicated in various forms of cheating, casting a dark shadow over the integrity of the examination process. The concerns follow a joint WAEC-GS report after months of investigations. There's more in the following report.
As the 2025 WASI begins tomorrow, August 5, with a practical session, the Ghana Education
The West African Examination Council, with the support of Ghana Education Service and other stakeholders, launched investigations into last year's WASI exams. The investigations established widespread infractions in the examination among senior high school students in the Ashanti region. Teachers and students were found to be complicit in examination malpractices. Out of 144 schools, 76 were found to be engaged in examination malpractices. Henry Osei-Boateng speaks for the Ashanti Regional Education Directorate.
We were able to find out that at least about 70 schools in Ashanti region, out of the 144 schools that we have, about 70 of them had one or two papers cancelled. And that gives us the idea that the examination of practice was going on in Ashanti region. And that is why there was a need for us to work on it. 50%? Yes, that's what we can say, about 50%, because almost about 70, about 76.
According to Mr. Boateng, GES takes exception to the involvement of teachers and students in exams malpractices, a situation he says has compelled GES to take immediate action.
Establish a monitoring team. And this time the monitoring team is not only members from the regional education office staff. We've also brought on board other directorates, heads of supervision in other directorates who are also coming on board, and we form a strong team who will go around to monitor these exams.
Are these teachers being punished? Have you been able to identify them and be punished?
Yes, at the moment some of them have been punished. You know, even some have been sent to prison, about 30 days and the rest. So we are punishing them.
Meanwhile, GES has called for the support of school authorities to deal with the menace, as it warned of punitive measures against those found to be involved. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Ohim Interior reporting.
The demand for 2 to 3 years rent advance has pushed a man called Gustav Kessie to the edge of eviction every single day. In a single overcrowded room at Kokumba, one of Accra's most neglected slums, the 28-year-old delivery rider stretches every city just to keep a roof over his wife and 3 children's heads. Kenneth Jesse has more in today's episode of our Habitat series.
Gustav Kessie is a senior high school graduate who left Bando for Accra as a teenager in search of a better life. Now 28, he's a husband, father of 3, and a delivery rider, trying to make something out of life from within the slums of Kokomba. For the past 12 years, this cramped room, barely large enough for a mattress, ceiling fan and a few personal belongings, has been home to Gustav and his growing family.
I've been here for 12 years. Yeah. I stay with my wife and 3 kids.
So all the kids were born in this room?
Yeah, I think two was born here.
He pays 320 Ghana cedis a month, collected in weekly installments of 80 cedis, for this narrow wooden single room in a crowded compound. 17 other tenants live upstairs, with as many living downstairs. Rent collection here is strict. Miss just a week's payment and you risk being thrown out.
The biggest challenge living here is the pressure in paying the rent. Because if you default for a week, they have to come and lock your place. and if you default for 2 weeks, by the time you come, they'll just pack your things out. Initially, when I came here and I was new, by the time when I default for maybe a week or two, by the time I come, they lock my place. They have to send my wife and kids out. When I come back, either I send the money or I come back and talk to the landlord before he opens and allow them in.
The place is untidy, noisy, and above all, unsafe.
Sometimes the smoke, the smoke flow, they normally send fire down there, so the smoke comes in. Normally we have some insects here, but the guy has to defrag the place. That's why it is like we are not witnessing that, and the place is not tidy.
Gustav has tried many times to move his family out, but landlords demanding 2 to 3 years rent in advance have priced him out of a better home.
Because when I tried renting and they said for the least I can get is 200 cedis, and he is taking 3 years. Where am I going to get that money from? So it made me lose hope, and I felt comfortable at a point here because there's no way I'm going to get that money.
He partly blames the rent system for failing people like him.
It has failed a whole lot of youths, not only me, it has failed a whole lot of youths. Let's assume someone is working and earning 1,500. How do you expect the person to get 500 cedis a month for 2 years or 3 years? You can't get that money to pay the rent.
The man from Kwando, who lost both parents at a young age, remains defiant. He hopes that once he finishes paying for his motorbike, which is in about a year's time, he will finally be able to secure a decent home for his family. From the slums of Kokomba in Accra, my name is Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
Ghana's road transport sector continues to face growing safety concerns, with human error cited as a major contributor to daily crashes. Speaking at the launch of a new line of consumer vehicles in Accra, the Transport Ministry called for stricter adherence to traffic regulations as demand for private cars continues to rise.
Ghana's road network moves people, goods and the economy, but it also carries a heavy toll. Every day, lives are lost on the country's road, with studies consistently pointing to one main cause: human error.
Has come at a considerable cost due to the traffic fatalities we often face. Studies have shown that 80% of the fatalities are due to human error, and therefore we must guard against actions such as speeding, drunk driving, driving whilst tired, wrongful overtaking, running red lights, among others, to ensure the safety of all road users.
At the launch of a new range of private vehicles in Accra, the head of road transport services at the Ministry of Transport, Daniel Esel, reiterated this concern while delivering a statement on behalf of the sector minister. The event also saw the unveiling of SUVs as the company begins its expansion into the vehicle market. According to Mr. Esel, the move responds to changing trends in Ghana's transportation landscape.
Ghana has committed to various international framework and agreements, the SDGs, and then the Paris Agreement on climate change. We are therefore duty-bound to reduce our emissions, and we are happy that the models being introduced here today squarely meet that requirement.
As Ghana's vehicle market grows, so does the need for a safer road. Authorities are urging drivers to match mobility with mindfulness.
Government-led climate projects aimed at cutting emissions and promoting sustainability may soon receive a major boost as the Minister of State for Climate Change and Sustainability, Alhaji Baba Seidu Isifu, has announced plans to scale up action through a strategic partnership with the Green Climate Fund. Elsie Tuxin has more in the following report.
The Minister of State for Climate Change and Sustainability, Alhaji Baba Seidu Isifu, has highlighted plans to boost government-led climate projects through a strategic partnership with the Green Climate Fund. Speaking to Joy News, the minister described the upcoming collaboration as a major step towards unlocking funding to drive Ghana's climate resilience agenda in supporting efforts to cut emissions while advancing national priorities like the 24-hour economy, green infrastructure, and sustainable healthcare delivery.
Now, we're looking at how to decarbonize the 24-hour economy, to take advantage of climate financing, to take advantage of carbon credit, to build sustainability. We're looking at a big push. What do we do to ensure that we build climate resilient roads? And all those things are attempts to decarbonize the projects and make sure that we're able to get carbon credit to support the government projects. So it's all about taking advantage to scale up investment and funding into the country.
Director for the African region at the Green Climate Fund, Catherine Candace Kaufman, emphasized that access to GCF funding depends on how well government projects are structured by accredited entities.
Your funding package, your structure is dependent on your submission. We don't drive that. You drive that. So you need to motivate. And GCF funding packages can be a little bit more exciting than what we've seen. We've seen packages that accredited entities, it's basically based on their level of expertise as opposed to what the country can actually achieve. And so we need to level up in terms of the funding partners, the AEs that you use to do submissions for you.
With the right partnerships and well-structured proposals, Ghana's climate ambitions could soon receive the green light and green funding to drive lasting impact. Elsie Texan's report, read to you.
It's time for Showbiz, and Rebecca Shiniwa Daku joins me in the studio. You
said Rebecca Daku Chinawa. I know why you're saying that, because of the
yes,
glasses.
Please. It's the glasses for me.
I look more
it's
like
giving,
Rebecca.
I am serious.
I am a serious human being.
Yes,
I don't know why you don't want to take me serious. But for over the weekend, a lot happened. I think that I want to name it a Daddy Lumba weekend. It doesn't look like, we're going to be off that very soon. There was a vigil at the Independence Square. There was something else happening in Germany, and he represented there also. Okay. Sunyani wasn't left out. So we have all that in a beautiful package for you this evening. Welcome back from a busy weekend. I hope you had a wonderful one. I know for many music lovers, the Independence Square was the place to be as thousands of Ghanaians assembled to honor the late music legend Charles Kwejo Fosu, affectionately known as Daddy Lumba.
Lumba has touched us one way or the other.
2010, I performed with him, but since 2010, I never met him again.
This candlelight vigil was an emotional tribute to one of the country's most cherished artists whose melodies have resonated with generations. Big names in the music fraternity and the entertainment industry were present to mark what has been described as historic and part of the series of planned commemorative events aimed at celebrating Daddy Lumba's life and legacy. Now, I know we're all mourning the loss of a legend, and everyone in their own ways are trying as much as possible to pay tribute and pay the last respect to the fallen hero. We saw Palago's tribute song.
25 Ghana will be around. What a loss. It's a big blow to the industry. Ghana musicians will be able to I face Saturday, 26 July, my sorry, I match me want online, me Kokotia. What? Lumba, most bien. You no cry, Nancho. How? That the Lumba was saying.
And this. Take a closer look at this painting on your screen. Now, I know we're all trying, but can we all be on the same page? guy back in Germany didn't miss out on the celebration. He had his own session of celebrating the legend. He paused in the middle of his performance at the African Music Festival where he paid tribute to the late Daddy Lumba.
Daddy Lumba. Turn your phone lighters on. Everybody turn your phone lighters on for the legend. I need to see some phone lighters. Let's show some love for Daddy Lumba. Daddy Lumba. Lighters up, lighters up, lighters up. The legend who started his career right here in Germany, 1989. Give us a beautiful album. Give us the part that we're chattering today. Brought us beautiful music. May he so rest in glory. He was 60 years old. And today, as I perform right here on the 2nd of August, Ghana is holding a candle torch service for him. And so it is just right that here in Germany, the land of good people, we have to set up a life for great Daddy Lumba, Mr. Charles Kojofosu. So if you know this one, let's do this song for the great legend. Let's go! Keep the lighters up, keep the lighters up, keep the lighters up, keep the lighters up, keep the lighters up.
Well, Sunyani wasn't left out of the celebrations. Die-hard Lumba fans, Bono chapter, also held a candlelight vigil to honor Daddy Lumba's memory and celebrate his legacy. It went a little bit like this.
So, yeah, like I told you, it was a Daddy Lumba weekend, and we continue to celebrate him. I understand that there's a Kumasi version coming up this
Kumasi,
weekend.
we always raise the bar. If you watch most of the videos,
Yeah.
I'm from Bekwai actually.
Okay.
So I'm from the Ashanti region. If you watch most of the
Bekwai, Jinasi, Anas, Santasi.
Okay,
go ahead. Go ahead. You were saying.
So if you watch the videos, people were complaining that the tributes were just too much.
Yeah.
We didn't have time to just enjoy the songs, to just be in the moment. And that's what Kumasi we're going to teach them.
So that's the reason. Is
That's
that the reason why we're going funeral to Kumasi? Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you. Almost Kumasi for so almost 5 years in Brom no money na craft for money. Na Daddy Lumba nyombe mpana for see eda wa koma so a opese ye bomao enyumrewe.
Ye Ethiopia.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Me pacho mumbo ye Ethiopia Emma Fosti. But before that, please log on to myjoyonline.com. That's where you find all the news. We'll be back tomorrow for another thrilling edition of the Joining Prime Showbiz edition. Yeah, you have to always pay attention to what we do here on the Showbiz segment. For no ne eswaso no bekwai abayewa for see onwa na ose yema ne enyumwe.
It's okay, let's go.
Nyame adom ye de enyum no atwase enyumwe ekoma obi a ohwe Joy News. Edamunye na se. Bye bye.
Yo,